But that gets to my next point, which I forgot to ask you about. What are your thoughts on bringing back Cody Rhodes? I know we were very vocal about this when we talked about this last week on the phone when I broke the news to you. How do you think they should handle Cody Rhodes, Stardust, whatever, going forward?
Well, I can't imagine how they could possibly bring him back out in the yellow and black tights. I mean, I know it's not really a case. Dusty's death isn't, a storyline or anything, but I don't see how, after something as monumental or tragic, really, that happened to Dusty, they could kind of. It's not. I don't think Stardust is a rib to Cody. I think that he really wanted to, do his best to kind of take after his brother Goldust. Goldust really ran with the character and made it his own and made it phenomenal, really. I think Stardust wanted a similar challenge. Everyone knows that Cody Rhodes is, a phenomenal worker. Could have been, still potentially could be a future world champion. I think that Stardust kind of wanted to take on the challenge of, getting this weird gimmick but actually making it work. And unfortunately, he hasn't made it work. I won't say that he can't make it work, but it's just with what he was given, I don't think it really helped his talents, or it showed off his talents in the ring. But regardless, I think that after something as tragic as the death of Dusty Rhodes, I think that there's no choice but to bring Cody Rhodes back. I mean, in a more serious, competitive light. I mean, there's Stardust. I won't completely poop on him. I mean, Stardust was entertaining. A little, but Cody Rhodes was just head and shoulders above the character Stardust. I mean, there's little to hate about it. I mean, maybe if you go back in hindsight and see that, well, we got 3 new stars in the Shield, and we don't want to set Cody up right yet, so we'll give him a little gimmick with Stardust, so just to keep him busy. Maybe if that was what they were going for, sure. But I think now more than ever, it's time to not only put him in the spotlight, but put him in the spotlight back as Cody Rhodes.
I commend Cody Rhodes for at least trying to make the gimmick work. I mean, this is not the first time something like this has happened. I mean, I thought the Stardust gimmick was the worst thing he's done in his career. Not because of his own talent or of his own effort. It's because just the way they booked him. But, the mustache thing, when he was wearing the mask a couple years ago, it's not the first time he's been saddled with a terrible gimmick. He makes it work to the best of his ability, so I commend him. But, and I said this years ago when he was being wasted during the whole Rhodes Scholar scene. That was great and all, but there have been various points during the feud with Big Show after he lost the title where, I'm thinking this guy's a future world champion. You have to capitalize on his potential right now. And people are saying, he's still young. It's okay. He's like in his late 20s, but he's not going to get any younger. The guy's, I think he turned 30 this year, or will be turning 30 or 31, something along those lines. So they got to capitalize right now. And I'm not saying, I did say this to you that, give the guy the world title right now. He deserves it. I'm not saying you need to give him the Rey Mysterio, Eddie's treatment from 10 years ago. You don't need to do that. But even though he deserves it, maybe in due time, I'm not saying you need to do that ASAP. But, this is not my idea. I saw someone else say this, and I thought it was excellent. I heard someone else say this. Maybe not as of last night, because it's still too soon. Cena wasn't even on the show. But at some point down the line, if Kevin Owens doesn't take that title, you could have Cody Rhodes come out, accept that open challenge, and win that championship from a big name like John Cena, get a huge win, and win that title, win the same title that his dad made famous. So what do you think of that idea?
Yeah. I mean, that sounds great. It really does. Cody as the U.S. champ. But honestly, I've known this from as soon as the kid put knee pads on and finally got rid of those weird shin pads. I remember, I think it was Royal Rumble 2012. He finally got the knee pads going. The kid was a star. He really was. I mean, he had a great look. He's great in the ring, great on the mic. I mean, I honestly, especially after this, I want nothing less than for Cody to be a world champion one day. I sincerely mean that. I mean, you can go back to World Class Championship Wrestling down in Texas after the passing of David Von Erich. Kerry Von Erich went on to face Ric Flair for the NWA Championship in Texas Stadium, and he ended up beating Ric Flair for the NWA Championship. And I'm sure that wasn't in the plans of NWA, but since David Von Erich, who meant so much to a lot of people as Dusty did, since he passed away, David was going to be an NWA champion for those of you that don't know. Since he passed away, they gave the title to Kerry Von Erich in his memory, and David's memory. So I think that they should do something like that with Cody. I mean, I'm sure that Cody Rhodes was never in the world title plans. I mean, we have Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar going at a Battleground. I don't know if this is confirmed, I might be behind, but I saw a poster for SummerSlam that showed Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar on the poster. I'm not sure if that's confirmed, but I doubt Cody Rhodes is anywhere in the immediate, world title booking for 2015. But I think it's necessary that you give him a world title shot. At least give him a great match with the world champion. Put him back in that main event role. I mean, he was never really in the main event role, but he was always a main event caliber worker. So I mean, give him Cody Rhodes back. Let him be a main event star. You don't have to give him the title, but I mean, if Dusty meant that much to you, it does. Addressing WWE corporate, if Dusty meant that much to you, it shouldn't be that hard to give Cody Rhodes a push.
I'm just baffled that in the many years that he's been in Money in the Bank, at least 3 or 4 times he's been in Money in the Bank, that he's yet to win it. I know like Kofi Kingston's been in like 10 of them and he's never won one, but the biggest difference between a Kofi Kingston and a Cody Rhodes is that I could definitely see Cody Rhodes being a future world champion. Like you said, I had that exact same thought. When he put on those knee pads and he was wearing that, he had the white tights and he had the white Intercontinental Championship around his waist to go to match it. It was perfect. Like the guy screamed future world champion and they just screwed it up somewhere along the way. So I think now is the time to start booking him as that main event talent, as he should be. And I hate the arguments that he's not over as himself. He always needs a gimmick to fall back on. I dare anyone to go back in the network, because it's on the network, to Money in the Bank 2013, when he was ascending that ladder. I think it was Philadelphia, one of the best crowds in wrestling history, or at least recently, but he was ascending that crowd, he was ascending that ladder. The crowd was going crazy for him. They weren't chanting mustache, they weren't chanting Stardust, they weren't chanting mask or whatever. They were chanting Cody, and they loved him. The summer of 2013 was his year. And I was watching it like the day that Dusty passed away a couple days ago. The match that he had at Battleground with Goldust and The Shield, one of my favorite matches of that year, and it was so great to see those guys have their moment. But he was so over, and I don't know where they lost it. But like you said, they gave him that competitive matchup that year. I think Orton was the champion at that time when he was a WWE champion, and that was when he got fired. I think it was. So they have done something like that before, and I think love the idea. I mean, the U.S. Championship run would be great. But if he's not in the immediate plans to become world champion at any point in the near future, but now is the time to start capitalizing on it and give him that world championship run that he deserves. If only. No, go ahead.
I see the argument that potentially he's not over enough for a world championship status. I can see someone making that argument. But Vince McMahon likes how he can get a broomstick over in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
So if you can get a broomstick over, you can definitely get Cody Rhodes over 100%.
Yeah, well, I think it's more the fact. I mean, more the argument that people make is that not only that is he not over, because he has been over before. I don't think. I mean, right now he's not over. I mean, when you lose to R-Truth on a pre-show, of course you're not going to be over. Just ask Wade Barrett. But I mean, with him, the guy's got all the tools. That's the thing. I think that's what separates him from all the other mid-card talent right now. He's got the look. He's got the mic skills. He's come so far on the mic. And then in the ring, the guy's a natural. So I really don't see any reason why he at least shouldn't be in consideration to be a future world champion or in contention for that title. I don't get it.